In case you haven't noticed, today's cheerleaders are more than just pretty girls with pom-poms and miniskirts. Many of them are serious athletes performing high-flying aerial stunts.
And Fox 6 investigator Brian Polson shows you why cheerleaders in Wisconsin may be tumbling through the air without a critical safety net. Brian?
Ted and Kat, Sir Isaac Newton, I believe, is the one who taught us a long time ago what goes up must come down. So if you toss enough teenage girls 15 feet in the air, odds are some of them are going to come down and come down hard. There's no question cheerleading, especially modern cheerleading, is dangerous. But is it a contact sport? That question may have exposed a hole in state law that could leave cheerleaders in danger and parents in debt. In case you think this is all there is to cheerleading.
People just jumping up and down with pom-poms and like doing chants and stuff.
Spend an hour in the gym with the Grafton High School cheer squad.
We like tumble, we stunt, we dance, we jump.
And you may never see cheerleaders.
There we go, that's two!
The same way again.
A lot of people don't see what we actually do, like at a competition.
The Grafton Blackhawks are the 4-time defending state champions in their class of cheer competition. But the road to those state titles is littered.
It's okay, get up, shake it off.
With broken fingers, sprained elbows, and reconstructed knees.
And I land like straight-legged, so it like snapped.
Ariel has torn her ACL 3 times. That's the most important ligament in your knee.
It hurts really bad.
But she's not alone. How many of you here have had any kind of a cheerleading-related injury? For even the best coached teams,
Caitlin, are you okay?
Injuries go with the territory.
Anything you do or choose to participate in, there's a risk of minor injury, major injury, or death.
A simple internet search helps to illustrate the gravity of the problem. And the risk goes beyond sprains, strains, even broken bones. A study at the University of North Carolina finds cheerleading accounts for 2/3 of all catastrophic injuries to female athletes. The kind of life-changing injuries more commonly associated with football.
Cheerleaders, we don't often think about them being subjected to the same forces as a football player, but when they're being dropped or thrown from 15 feet in the air, they certainly are.
Pediatric specialist Danny Thomas says many cheerleaders suffer concussions and don't even know it because they don't recognize the symptoms.
Well, you're dizzy, you have really bad headache, you're nauseous, you might vomit.
Catastrophic injuries are much less common.
But when they happen, they're devastating.
And one of those injuries is now the subject of an unprecedented legal debate.
Please be seated.
Before the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
These are highly dangerous stunts.
It all started when Brittany Noffke was a freshman cheerleader at Holman High School north of La Crosse. The squad was warming up before a basketball game when Noffke's coach directed her to practice an elevated stunt in the hallway. Another freshman, Kevin Bakke, was supposed to be her spotter. The two had never practiced the stunt together before, and Bakke was in the wrong position when Noffke fell backward and cracked her skull on the tile floor.
Brittany Noffke did what she was supposed to do. She didn't do anything wrong.
Noffke sued, and her case has raised a question no Wisconsin court, and perhaps no court in the country, has ever encountered before. Is cheerleading a contact sport?
We have found no case anywhere at any level that is considered cheerleading to be a contact sport.
This is the first time it's come up.
The answer could affect every parent of every cheerleader in Wisconsin.
It's better give themselves a very big umbrella policy.
You see, Wisconsin law prevents participants in contact sports from suing each other for unintentional injuries, but there is no specific list of which sports qualify.
You can eliminate golf. You can eliminate chess.
And earlier this year, Wisconsin's 4th District Court of Appeals eliminated cheerleading, writing that it doesn't involve contact between opponents. Simply put, that means Brittany can go right ahead and sue Kevin.
You have children suing children, and you have the families assuming the risk and the liabilities.
But in the very same legal opinion, the appeals court ruled that Brittany cannot sue the school, a contrast that prompted one Supreme Court justice to ask, in effect, is that backwards?
Yes.
It would be fair to make the school responsible when terrible accidents like this happen.
The reason the school cannot be held accountable stems from this book of safety regulations known as the Spirit Rules. Noffke claims her coach broke those rules by failing to provide a proper spotter and proper matting for a dangerous stunt. The appeals court not only disagreed, it went a step further, questioning if the Spirit Rules are enforceable at all.
We don't have any uniform standards.
They have to be able to make the rules so that if somebody breaks the rules, that they're held accountable.
Kimberly Archie is watching the case closely. She's director of the National Cheer Safety Foundation.
I believe this is a national crisis.
For the past 3 months, Archie has been on a nationwide media blitz calling for stricter regulation of cheerleading.
I think every state association plays a role in the risks that cheerleaders are taking because they have not stepped up to the plate and governed this as a sport.
Wisconsin is among the majority of states whose high school athletic associations do not enforce the Spirit Rules on cheerleaders.
We have not adopted them officially, or because we do not regulate cheer competition.
Instead, the WIAA defers oversight of cheerleading to the Wisconsin Association of Cheer and Pom Coaches.
Any activity is only as safe as the person leading it.
The WACPC educates coaches on safety issues, but the association's own handbook states that it has no real enforcement authority. In other words, outside the confines of a cheer competition, the rules are just recommendations, and safety training is voluntary.
The coaches that have taken the time to educate themselves are very, very safe with their kids because they do know what could go wrong.
There's no way our girls would be stunting on a linoleum floor ever, anywhere, for any reason, without a mat. It just wouldn't happen.
All right, standing back handsprings.
Carrie Grabo has been coaching long enough to know what's safe and what isn't.
Nice.
She believes every cheer coach should get safety training.
Not because we have to, but because we want to. That's our job, to keep our kids safe. We want to do it right.
For those who don't, the question remains, who's responsible when something goes wrong? The answer is up in the air. Now, it could be weeks or even months before the Wisconsin Supreme Court rules on the Noffke versus Bakke case. In the meantime, the WIAA has no plans to regulate cheerleading. Executive Director Doug Chickering tells me doing so would actually mean a more limited cheerleading season, tighter restrictions on things like summer camps, and an end to national competitions. The Grafton cheer coach told me that would be devastating not only to her team, but to the cheerleading industry as a whole.
Hard videos to watch. If cheerleading causes so many life-changing injuries, Brian, why are we just finding out now about the extent of these injuries?
Yeah, because some of these go back as much as 25 years. The fact is nobody's been keeping track of cheerleading injuries. And the National Cheer Safety Foundation is attempting to do just that. If you know of a cheerleader who's been seriously injured, they want to hear from you. Find out how to report a cheerleading injury by going to our website, myfoxmilwaukee.com, and click the link to the Fox 6 investigators at the bottom of the page.
And to think my mom used to not go to my football games because she didn't want to see me get hurt. Maybe I was safer out there.
Nobody's been watching the cheerleaders on the sideline for that.
Hard to watch that video.
All right, Brian. Sure. You got it.
Thank you.